I'm Real Genetic Demon, and this is What's on the Tape, Season 18, Volume 5. I almost forgot the season for a minute there. So many intros, so many times, well, so many seasons. Anyway, this week, slightly different. I felt the need. I found this box, and to be fair, it's been sitting in my sort of office for forever. Sort of, I say office, my piles of kingdoms sort of Spectrum tapes and things. So it's just piles of rubbish basically everywhere. But I found it in amongst the piles. He says, knocking the camera there. Found it amongst the piles, and I opened it, and I thought, I wonder, this might make for an interesting video because we can. If I open it up, it's got lots and lots of sort of tapes, orphan tapes in it. Not the usual sort of things, but orphan tapes. So I'm gonna, like Bomb Scare and Bug Bites the Castle and Eddie Eskimo or Eskimo Eddie, the head coach. But I thought what I would do, I thought I'd kind of reach in here, because you can see there's loads of them. I'd reach in here and I'd pull out 4. So I'll get one of them, that one there. We got Gunfighter. I haven't played that in ages. I thought I'd pull out 4 of these. Let's have one of these ones here. What's that one? Adidas Soccer and Pokes. Great double hits. Super Soccer. Oh, that's going to have a few on. So we're going to have that one. What about this yellow one? That's going to be a Mastertronic one for sure. The Empire Fights Back. Yep, definitely. Let's see what else we got. So I'm going to pick out 5, I said. Did I say 4 or 5? Didn't I say that? Oh yes, definitely having that one. I can half see. I'm gonna close my eyes and look a different direction, right? So there we go. We're rummaging. And this one. Oh my God! Way of the Exploding Fist. That's almost awesome. That was. It's really got some foxing on that. It's really seen it. Oh look, it's Jay Wrights. He originally owned it. No, I just thought it'd be a bit fun, so I thought we'd give that a go. So let's see what we got out of this. Let's move these out of the way, and I'll just chuck this to one side. So we got Way of the Exploding Fist. We got Zip Zap. We got Empire Fights Back. We got Gunfighter, which is kind of cool. And to sort of finish it all off, we got double hits from Sinclair User. Sounds like a nice mixture, really. So, without further ado, let's just get one of these into a tape drive. Right, the tape's in the drive, so we'll go to our favourite, we'll go to our basic, and load it. Or load speech marks. Right, this thing, I'm hoping, because I picked out from that sort of random box of orphan tapes. That's really sad, isn't it? I actually find it really sad that they're all orphaned. I know that there's a guy I know. By the way, it's the one I've chosen, by the way, to go first with was the Adidas Championship Soccer and the Pokes from Sinclair User. So we'll give this a try. Hopefully they'll load. We won't get too many R-tape errors because they are actual official sort of tapes, but they are orphan tapes. So we've got no instructions, so that's going to be fun. I have played a couple of them before, so that's not such a big problem. But I do find it quite sad, really, that they're orphaned. I know people always get a bit annoyed about reproduction, but I have to admit, reproduction is kind of the way to sort these. What I need is somebody who prints, who's a proper printer, who'll print the covers properly for me so that I can put them back into cassettes, because it does feel a bit like, I don't know, I used to have a friend in Spain, nice guy, very nice guy. He was responsible, him and his team were responsible for the Topo Soft re-release, or sort of releases of the sort of new hit squad. So there's the kind of a... Oh, it's loading. It is loading. Nice solid lines this time round. Very nice to see. But he was part of that team that brought together sort of a lot of sort of Spanish games and brought them all together again. And you could buy. I think they sold them on Sinclair for Sale on Facebook for a while. And they were kind of, you could buy a batch of, I think it was about 18 games in it. So I mean, if you're a Hitsport collector, it was kind of the modern day equivalent of it. I got sent a game by him as a thank you. I sent him a lot of tapes, orphan tapes to sort of cover and put new inlays on and whatever else. So he actually sent me back a signed copy of one of the games that they had. What's it called? Oh Lorna, with the art from a particular a racy Italian cartoonist, and the name of the lady is actually called Lorna. You can look her up. Actually, I can't remember the name of the artist, but anyway, he sent this back, and it's signed. It's sealed and it's signed, and he sent it back as a sort of thank you for the tapes that I used to send to him. He used to do the tapes, and this is the nice thing about people can be lovely. This is the thing. The world can be full of lovely people. One of the reasons he did this was for his own mental health. He had a few mental health issues, and he rather enjoyed covering these things. And he quite often, there's quite a lot of us collectors out there, and I used to send him boxes and boxes and boxes of tapes that he could recover. And I guess he must have I don't know, passed them on or put them in his own collection. I think he said he put them in his own collection, but I thought that was rather nice, actually. I thought that was a lovely way to sort of do something with all of these orphan tapes. Haven't heard from him for a while, so I was a little bit worried that I'm hoping he's okay, but you never know with these things, unfortunately. But I used to send quite a lot of stuff there. I guess with all the postal changes and things like that, sending to mainline Europe is a little bit more difficult than sending like it was previously. All that ridiculousness with sending stuff. But anyway. Quite an aside, but as I say, orphan tapes, one of those things. I have a few boxes full of them at the moment, and they just don't make these things anymore. A lovely friend of mine, he has his own YouTube channel, Zombie Bob's Emporium of Old Tat, which is the most fantastic name for any YouTube channel ever. He says to me quite frequently, he's a good friend, and he says to me quite frequently, they don't make these anymore. You don't make this anymore. You can't throw them away. That's the problem. You can't throw them away. So no matter how many copies of Scrabble or Checkered Flag you might have, or Horace Goes Skiing, you can't throw them away because they don't make them anymore. And he's absolutely right with that. But God knows what you do with them. My wife was saying to me the other day that I should take the Checkered Flags, and I have in my office I have a mounted a frame with mounted inside this frame, which is a see-through frame, so any wall you put it against you get the background from, which is kind of cool. And mounted in this frame is a lot of electronic components, including Pentium 90 processors and SCSI cards and old Intel network cards and memory, so 30-pin SIMs and all this kind of stuff, all mounted in here. But they've all been mounted in such a way that you could actually remove them from the mounts, and technically they would still work. The glue is not in the mount in the way that they've been attached. They've been very attached with a lot of care and attention to actually doing the sort of attachments for it. And I have to admit, she said, why don't you get all your Checkered Flags and turn them into to that sort of thing? Put them in a sort of encased sort of frame and have them mounted on the wall. I thought, that's not a bad idea, because Checkered Flag for me, I always felt was quite iconic. I remember the first time I actually saw it running. It was in I've said this before, department store, bit like your Debenhams, but not quite your Debenhams. That kind of. I always like the word. I like the word haberdashery. Haberdashery is the word that I always think of when I think of these places, but that kind of thing. That's the first time I saw Checkered Flag, and that sort of Sinclair cover, and it never looked like a Formula 1 car though to me. It always looked like a kart. I don't know about you, but there's sort of the guy in his helmet sort of driving along, on the road. I always thought it didn't look like a Formula 1 car, but then when you got into it, and you had that McFaster special, and I think there was a Pegasus one and something else. Anyway, you had these fantastic sort of vehicles in the whole thing to sort of to drive along these tracks, and we always liked. Was it Paul something or other? Or Silverstone, basically. I think it's the one with the long one. Paul something or other. That's gone well. It's a good start. What's on the tape? Especially the way it usually does things. Right, brilliant. That's what we really like. Bit of crashing to begin with. Let's try that again. I'm keen to try that again. Or should we try the pokes? Let's try the pokes that go after it. We'll see if the pokes work when we go from there. But then we'll try it again from the beginning, because it says the pokes are on here, so let's see whether or not the pokes are there. Anyway, I've got coffee. I hope you've got a beverage too. I've got it in the flake mug, so it's only the crumbliest, flakiest chocolate in the world. That's a great. And one of these days, I'm going to put that in as an interlude in the middle of this thing. And I don't do interludes. I'm not YouTube's friend. I don't like the interludes. The only reason you might get episodes of mine where you get additional adverts throughout it is because I've been caught for. Well, not caught. The owner of some music from the past has decided to take ownership of my video and then monetize it to their own will, which is what happened last week because the Commodores came and got me for I can't remember which one it was. She's a Lady, I think it was. Is that the one? Anyway, so yeah, they came and got me for that one, and I was kind of stuck for sort of doing that. Oh wow, look, a quick coffee first, and then we'll have a look at what we've got here. I didn't know Darius Plus was on the spectrum. Oh, wow. Dan Dare, Jungle Warfare, Black Tiger, game I'm looking for at the moment still. What else we got? F-16 Fighting Falcon. Fantasy World, or Fanty World Disney. Not Fantasy World, it's Fanty World. Not to be confused with the one where you put the N in the middle of it. Only the British will get that joke, but maybe the Americans will as well. But anyway, Fanty World Dizzy, Snowball in Hell. That's quite a good game. Oh, we got Double Dragon 2, Ghosts and Goblins again. Press any key and prod the key and press play your tape. The latest Batman, Hopping Mad. Oh my God! Future Bikes, Guardian Angel, Emotion. So Sinclair user poke thingy. There we go. That's a thing. Let's press B and see what it does. There we go. Start the tape. We're not going to start the tape though. We're going to break. Ha! Can I list it? Huh? Oh, it's just the poke though. That's fantastic. I can't like that. It's a bit of a cheat. I like it. Bit of cheating going on there. And so you see, there's your poke there. Let K, because there'll be a poke there somewhere. Where's the poke in there? I can't see the poke. Paper brightness. Let K equals that. So that's your poke anyway. That will give you your infinite lives. Right. Let's go back and rewind this tape, and we'll try and see if we can load Adidas football. I might have to put. I'm going to try it in 128K mode. Actually, I'm going to push the reset button. We'll do that in 120K code mode. We'll give it a whirl, see if that works. I don't know if it's new enough to be 128K, but it's worth a try, isn't it? It's worth a try. See whether or not it's worth 128K. Let's give it. I'm gonna drink some more coffee. It's good. Coffee's good. Oh, I hope you've all had a good week. I hope you've all been busy, enjoying yourselves, and just generally, I don't know, doing whatever you've been doing. And if you're not, I hope your weekend is better. And if you're not off on the weekend, I hope someday during the week, hopefully, you're off and you have a lovely day, and you know things are good. What else has been happening? Nothing really. Nothing very exciting. I want to go say there's something exciting going on, but there isn't anything exciting at the moment. We've had our Easter. We've had eggs. We all had lots of chocolate. Well, we didn't actually have chocolate because we don't do chocolate, but you've probably had chocolate. I'm sure you've had chocolate. I'm hoping this actually does load, to be honest with you, because it's quite a long load for it not to do anything previously. It's interesting though because we've got a few games ahead of us here, but as I said, I have played a few of these before. One of which is Empire Fights Back, and I quite like Empire Fights Back. It's obviously a play on the title Empire Strikes Back, a bit of Star Wars play. Of course, if it was owned by Disney by now, Mastertronic would be currently under a gigantic mountain of Princess Pooh. And lawyers and solicitors probably if nowadays, but Empire Fights Back, I quite like this one. I remember getting it. It has a lovely cover, a sort of man flying towards sort of space and sort of again with a little bit of a helmet sort of stuck outside of his ship, if I remember rightly. It's been a while since I've seen the cover, but that's what I remember. A man just with his sort of all exposed to space, getting all the hyperspace going on. We've got Way of the Exploding Fist by Melbourne House, an absolute stonker of a beat 'em up. Can't beat a bit of Way of the Exploding Fist, and that was pure fluke that got picked out, by the way. It was not intentional. It's got a lot of foxing on it, though, so, you know, when you get left in a place where it's a little bit mouldy, and you get those sort of black dots that appear in the sort of the paper itself. It's called foxing. It's horrible, realistically. It's what libraries or expensive libraries fight all the time. That's why they keep their books in sort of specialised, dry vaults. I went in one of those once. I've got the stories by everything, by the way. I went in one of those once. It was one in the Lake District, and they had a vault. They had a library and a museum, and they had a vault. And basically, I needed to go to the vault to look at something electronic, because you almost always stick it in the vault. Of course, why wouldn't you? So I had to go into the vault, and they took me through several doors anyway. And it's very dry. They keep them very dry and cold. Which is, I don't know whether they're all dry and cold, but it's certainly dry is a major factor of it. But I think an ambient temperature is there. It was certainly underground, and it was ambient temperature, and some of the books were so expensive that I wouldn't dare touch them. But they were available for people to view if they wanted to. So you could ask for one of these expensive rare books. They were all based on the Lake District, though, so very much sort of your really sort of rare books. There was books from Wordsworth and other things that are there, sort of very early editions and all this kind of stuff. Very clever stuff, actually. If I'm honest, I kind of like that. I guess I don't know how writers feel about this. You know, it's one of these things. It's a bit like artists to some extent. I mean, you can be critically acclaimed during your life, but afterwards, somebody might stick your book in a vault somewhere, and then somebody has to ask for it. And I mean, but the thing is, what if you're not well known enough that your book just to sit there forever? I don't know. It's a weird one, that one. A kind of odd one for me. That's sort of. I mean, but what happens with all my videos on YouTube? You know, I'm not going to be here forever. I know. Sorry, I did not to disappoint you. I'm probably not going to be here forever. Quite old now. And broken. I mean, you had to suffer through me having a bad back. That was terrible. Anyway, where else were we? We also have on this little list Atlantis' Gunfighter. This one. I love the cover on this one. It has a gunfighter on a red sunset, sort of standing in the street, and I quite like Gunfighter, but if I remember rightly, it's extremely tough for a budget title, but worth every penny if you bought it back in the day. So I quite like Gunfighter. And then, of course, we have Imagine and Zip Zap, the game where they have the Star Wars theme tune, and of course that was perfectly legal. But I quite liked Zip Zap because it was featured a little droid. I remember people who played it and said they didn't really like it, and I don't understand why nobody liked it particularly. It was a damn good arcade game, and the idea was that you were a little droid. Your motors had broken, and you were forced to go forward. All you could possibly do is decelerate, and you had to collect up these teleporters to basically teleport. You were teleporting yourself basically to a safe location. But yeah, you could only slow down. You couldn't stop. So with the whole rotation left and right, because it was a rotational thing, you had to sort of avoid the aliens on each individual screen while collecting these power bars to activate a teleport to allow you to jump to the next particular part. Really quite liked it because it's a nice three-dimensional object, or looked a nice three-dimensional object. The actual sort of power droid sort of thing. It was quite a nice three-dimensional. It's kind of. It was like if Davros had tracks. I think it's the way I would describe it. It's had a little head on it as well, a bit weird, realistically, for a robot. Very weird robot. I always liked when it came to robots. I always kind of liked the. I used to. I think as a kid, I was exposed to quite a lot of Japanese toys, a lot of imported stuff, and I think that I think we had a lot more back then. I've discussed it before, but I've got a Takashi. I think it's Takahi. Oh, now I'm going to get it all wrong. Anyway, but there's a model that's there. There's a little Micro Men they're called, but it's not Micro Men as you're thinking of. It's Micro Man. They're like cyborgs, and they're all sort of glistening as silver. But of course, you also got all the robots that came with it as well. And of course, they were played with, destroyed, never really lasted. So now they're worth a fortune. This is the problem with these things. I think we've got music. If we do have music, it's not very good music. Right. Whistle! What's my keys? Oh, I've got my keys. That's left and right. What's left and right? I've got the ball, I think. I could go up and down. What's left and right, though? Oh, well, that's really weird. Did I score? I think I scored, but I'm not sure how I scored. This is my goal. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. I'm going to go down the field. Something wrong with this game. It doesn't work very well. I know it's a demo, but this is ridiculous. Let's see if I can find the keys. Ah, aha! I think I found the keys. Which way am I playing? Do you think I'm meant to be going downwards? I don't know what I'm meant to be going here. I'm going right the way down. That's the England goal. No, I've just scored. Just done an own goal. Right, okay. I've worked out the keys, but I don't think I've worked out the whole thing. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't say this is one of the better ones. Oh, I think it's 2-player as well. So, I'm kind of, the computer isn't. There's no computer as such. There's just me. Yeah, playing against myself. So that's it. That's not exactly gonna blow me away, is it? Adidas Soccer, getting the old sponsorship in, those early days of sponsorship. Because you used to have Lucozade on things, didn't you? That was the other thing, Lucozade. Kips, yes, Kips, the dog kibble. And not Skips at all, no Action Biker at all. I really liked Action Biker. I think I'm the only person in the world who liked Action Biker. I genuinely believe that I possibly was the only person that would like that particular game. This one is Super Soccer. I quite like this one. I'm sure this is a Bob Wakeland cover. Double case, Bob Wakeland, green on the board around the outside. 2 footballers obviously running towards you without 70s haircuts, so no mullets in sight, not a single one. But oh, look at that! Love it when they're a beautiful sound. Just a beautiful, nice, tight sound. But anyway, yeah, I don't know those early days of sponsorship. What was the one with the ant in it? There was one with an ant. There was Zool, which had Chupa Chucks, the lolly stuff, like shoehorned right into it. It's like smashed right in there. Whether you liked it or not, you got Chupa Chucks all over the place. To be fair, the problem with Zool is it wasn't Sonic. And it wasn't quite as good as Sonic, and to be, and I'm not, I like Sonic. I think it's a great game. I think it's really, really good, and I think Sega strategy of giving it away free with their Mega Drive was one of the was a particularly clever strategy. It basically sold loads because it was a fantastic game. But Zool, which I remember first on the Commodore Amiga, was one of those. There was one with ants though in it. Pushover, I'm sure had something like Skips or KP Peanuts or something like that. That's not good. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's not going to load, is it? Let's rewind that and let's try it again. Let's get onto you. And this was meant to be an easy one, by the way. No R-tape errors. None of that usual faffing about and making things work. No. This was meant to be easy. However, I have to admit, Spectrum cover tapes, they didn't exactly go to the high quality with these things. They were very rarely the quality you expected. There is an ocean racing game that I absolutely adore that's on one of these cover tapes, and I have got a copy of it. Can't remember what it's called. I'm sure it's just called Racer or something like that. But it's one of my favourites. I don't know why. Back in the day, you know when games gel with you. When the whole point about it is it's a combination of gameplay and whatever else, but games just gel with you. The games you just go back to. Games like Green Beret, this racing game, and I can't remember its name. I'm sure it's just Racer. Those kind of games. Chaos, the strategy game on the old Firebird label rather than the original one. And Laser Squad. New Venture. You know, these kind of things. They were just games I went back to. Menace, a 16K game, and again on the Firebird label. You know, my friends weren't overly impressed with it. They didn't think it was particularly good. I absolutely adored that game. I thought it was brilliant. I just loved the sort of, you know, single room attention to sort of, you know, teaching the class and then setting up all the other kids by putting nasties into their desks. And once you filled all the desks, that was it. And it was just, I don't know, it just really grabbed me. I quite liked that one. The brightly coloured magenta screen and the if you put a drawing pin on the teacher's desk, he would sit on that and jump in the air. Or if you put a whoopee cushion on, he'd look embarrassed. And it was, honestly, it was. I'm going to just try here. We're just going to leave it because you never know with this. It's not going to work, but we'll give it a try. But there was something about that game that kind of grabbed me. I don't know what games grabbed you, but put it in the comments below. I know that I mean, Soul of the Robot, that grabbed me too. Liked Soul of the Robot, great game, that particular one. Really good, quite a fantastic game. There was, as I say, so many good games that are actually out there that were a lot of fun to just play. You just sat and played. Jetpack, fantastic. Attic Attack, quite a lot of the Ultimate ones. You know, even Ya Kung Fu, you know, Way of the Exploding Fist, Zip Zap. You know, they just, some of these games are just absolutely phenomenal, and it's hard to explain how good they were. You know, back in the day, they just grabbed your attention, they held it there. I saw somebody do a meme the other day of the, you know, tragedy of the cover. And then the game itself not being as good as the cover. You know, that whole thing where you got it home and you saw the cover and the cover was like fantastic. There was like, you know, I don't know, some gigantic dragon being, you know, assaulted by many soldiers or something like that. And you got it home and it was like green blocks on the screen, just little green blocks, nothing exciting. And then you'd sort of look a little unhappy. That was the face. It was a little unhappy. And I re-edited it and sent it back. So no, I'm correcting this because we used our imagination back then. We kind of understood that we weren't going to get what was on the cover. I think nowadays they're a little spoiled. They expect to get what on the cover. In fact, if you think about this is this whole thing of you know, when they go to these tech shows now and they're the example I can think of, and you can Google it yourself and have a little look. Or search for it on the interweb. Is Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs, when it was first shown off, was fantastic graphics, blah 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 blah. But it was on a test machine, a test bed, on a much more powerful overall device. And when it came out, it wasn't anywhere close to the original. You know what they'd seen at their show. It was all CGI and yeah. I kind of, you know, I can see where they would come from with that. Back in the day, if we opened up a game and it was square blocks on the screen, we were all right with that. That's the way it went. That's the way it went. So just imagine, by the way, that we're on a pitch. This is one of the better ones. We're on a pitch. We're running around. We're kicking the ball a few times, and we're scoring some goals. I've got other games to play tonight. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, hang on. What else is on here? No, there isn't anything else. I don't think there's anything else. Hang on. Let's see. Listen. No, there's nothing else. No, that one's not happening. There's nothing else on there. Right, but just imagine a little man running around the pitch kicking balls. That's what you got to imagine. That's what's going on. There's two dudes running around kicking the balls at each other. To the tune of well, I mean, if we're gonna do it in the style of the cover that doesn't actually believe it, that it's fully rendered, you know, multiple polygon versions of the players all going around the pitch, sort of scoring goals in. Just imagine a game of football. And that's it, right there. It was right there. It was all along. It was just exactly like that. So yeah, I corrected the picture and basically said that, you know, we didn't think like that when we were kids. I don't think we did. I think yeah, we looked at the cover and we were like, wow, look at the cover. But at the same time, we knew we were looking at a piece of art. I think, and we knew that deep down we knew we were going to get sort of you know. This is the squeakiest zip zap tape ever. It's hilarious. It's just going squeaky, 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 squeaky. Anyway, but we knew. I think we knew deep down we weren't going to get what was on the cover. I think that was fairly obvious. But what we were hoping for is we were hoping for something that had gameplay, and then your imagination can kick in. We used to. I mean, how many of us would sit in front of our quick shot joystick or cheetah joystick with that sort of flight control that they all thought we really wanted, and now it's all gamepads. But that flight control, how many people sat in front of that and pulled back on the joystick to lift off the ground and swoop through the air and shoot aliens out of the sky and just be immersed in that and feel like you're piloting a spaceship through the space and shooting down things. I remember doing that. I remember feeling sort of that I was involved in it. I mean, it was just that it was beyond belief. And then sitting down with friends to play Super Sprint on the Spectrum. 3 of you at a screen or something similar, or 3D stock cars. I mean, that was brilliant. 3D stock cars. You sat there with your mates on 3D stock cars. Moving the computer cars around and overtaking them and sort of zipping around the track at very slow speeds, but it sort of emulated going fast. Fantastic. You can't really beat it. It's an experience. It's about gameplay. It's about enjoying it. It's about I don't know. Just having fun. We enjoyed that. Those were the days, weren't they? They really were the days. There's games. It's one of those big questions, isn't it? Good questions. What game did you like that nobody else seemed to like? There's probably the Spectrum. You've got a catalogue of nearly, I think, 17,000 games. I mean, new ones being discovered all the time. I saw just today 4 more missing in action titles that really should be preserved rather than just sold to sort of generally. But yeah, 4 more. They were sold very cheaply, I'll be honest. They were like a tenner a piece, but they were missing in action titles. But those things need to be preserved and put onto some databases and kept there. And that's what it is. There's a bit of preservation going on. We need to make sure that these things get preserved. And that I think without it, future generations will never know what Zip Zap is. Not that they care what Zip Zap is, but this might have spawned. I don't know what it spawned, to be honest, but it's that whole asteroid centipede and Space Invaders thing spawning the shoot 'em ups of now or other games. I mean, it's like the birth of Doom and Wolfenstein. They really heralded the first person shooter, didn't they? That's what they birthed. That was their thing. I quite like to think that. I don't know how you feel about this, but I always think that Gears of War, the first Gears of War, certainly spawned for me the idea of a third-person shooter. I think that kind of grabbed me for that one. I think that was the one that really grabbed me as a sort of Gears of War. However, the only thing I've got to say about Gears of War is, and it's the same thing I say about everything else, is, why does it have to be all so bloody grey? Why has it got to be so grey? Press any key to begin. There we go, there's Star Wars music. Diddle-doo-doo. Doo-doo. Diddle-doo-doo. Diddle-doo-doo. Diddle-doo. Can't be it. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah. Yes, program audio and visual by Ian Weatherburn. Where Ian Weatherburn was like, nobody will notice if I put Star Wars in the beginning of it. We all noticed, Ian. There's even the menu's got it. Right, okay, so here's our little robot. Let's see if I can find the keys. I'm hoping I've got the right keys to begin with. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so he's like little... So these are the things we're collecting. I'm slowing down. And we collect these, and they basically open this portal up for me to... Oh, I've got health at the top of the screen, by the way. The energy's at the top of the screen. And it basically allows us to beam to the next bit. I didn't even shoot one of them there. That's ridiculously poor. And they get more energy when you beat the level. And then we go again. So, got my brake on already. There's the brake. And I think you can go, ooh, loop around the screen. There we go, and we're out. 35, not much left. I quite like this because it's a very simplistic shooter. It's quite good fun. There's nothing wrong with a simplistic shooter. Simplistic shooters are sometimes some of the best fun you can have of the simplistic stuff. Well, I certainly think so. Goes along the way for me of things like. There we go. Ooh, did okay there. Got away from it there. Go along to things like Jetpack and Cookie and Psst. Those are all particularly good games. I quite like those ones for sort of their simplicity and simple things. I mean, Jetpack is an absolute is legendary if you ask me. It's just one of the greatest sort of it's just one of the greatest shoot 'em ups ever. It really is. I still think it. I can't believe I remember the keys for this. By the way. I remember the keys at all, but I do. I remember the keys, and I've done it. I've got to the next level. Sector 4. I'm going to Sector 5 now. This will be worse. The shooting on this is pretty bad, though. You do feel like you're a little bit close to the action, unfortunately. Let's put the brake on. There we go. Quick. Ah! He's all done. We're done. I like that. I'm gonna have another quick go. Go on, we'll have a quick go because I quite like that one. I like it because it's just simple. I know this is an early Imagine game. Did they charge full price for this one? I can't remember. I bet they did. But back to the gold-coloured ones as well, though. Do you remember the whole gold tapes? They had gold tapes, and Alchemist was one of those gold tapes. I remember that. I might actually have a couple of those gold ones. I don't think many. I don't know what the significance of the gold tapes was. Was there some significance, or was it just collector's items? You know, sort of a. Have you got a gold tape version of it or something? Maybe. I don't know. I just wondered. Anybody have a gold tape version? Does anybody know the significance of the gold tapes? They're just gold tapes. There we go. Out we go. Sector 3. Sector 3. Sorry, I'm concentrating. Oh no. Oh no, get in there. I used to think it was really difficult as a kid though, because he's always going forward. But I like the perpetual motion of it. I think it's a dynamic that ensures that the game. I wonder if he started by going forward, you know, with a button that goes forward, and then discovered it was too easy for people. Because that forward motion basically makes it harder for you as a player. Oh God, I'm not going to get to Sector 5, am I? Oh, we go. Oh well, that was quite good. I quite enjoyed that one. That's quite cool with a bit of Star Wars music in there. You can't beat a bit of Star Wars music. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I wonder if it was a forward motion that it had in it originally, so it went forward, and then he realised that it was too easy that way, so you had to, you know, making the brake work that way, that it became a braking exercise. It's always like it reminds me of the, I can't remember what it's called. Strike Cobra, I think it's called. I think it's Strike Cobra. Cobra Strike. It's a players game that was released. The developer or the writer of that told me in a comment on one of my sort of videos that when he originally created it, he got a feedback that said there should be some more sort of movement forward motion, you know, with the whole thing. And he misinterpreted that. What they were asking him to do is that there was like a, you know, when you move forward with the helicopter, it kept sort of going forward. There's a momentum there. But what he actually did is he ended up making it that you, the helicopter drops from the sky straight down rather than staying there and sort of hovering when you go there, which it originally did in his original code. But they were suggesting that a bit of forward motion would make it more entertaining. Instead, he made it drop from the sky. They still published it with the drop from the sky, but but that was what the feedback was. There was a confusion between the two of them. You know, it's words, isn't it? How words are used and how people use words. So there was that confusion that he thought that by that momentum they meant to sort of let it drop from the sky, and they meant, you know, let it sort of go forward a bit as you accelerate accelerate, and then you have to sort of slow down and turn and swap back again. To be fair, the game ended up being quite good, and the Amstrad CPC version, which is a conversion of his original game, is really, really good. So there we go. Look at that. I forgot about the loading screen. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Nice and cartoony, like that. The old Roman numerals at the bottom. Somebody could work out the date from that, or they can Google it. Oh, is this the Shaw Brothers? It is. Look, graphics by David Shaw, Graham Shaw, and Adrian Shaw. Oh, Shaw Brothers. Shaw Brothers have made quite a few games. Were they responsible for Super Kid? Can't remember. There's a mouse in the middle, by the way. Look at the mouse. Straight in the middle of the screen. There's a moose. There's a moose. Loose. About the hoose. Yeah, Shaw Brothers. They definitely did Heartbroken, I think it was. I like that one. That was kind of they had a bit of a P-take of ACG in that. There's a graveyard with ACG on some of the stones, if I remember rightly. So the Ashby Computer Graphics, responsible for some of those classic titles I was talking about earlier. The Cookie and whatever else it was, and the Psst, and the Trans Am, great game. Lunar Jetman, horribly tough. Not a bad game, just horribly tough. I actually did a lot better with it last time round because I got in the mole. Mole being the little transport that takes you across the bottom of the screen. Yeah, did a lot better with that. Shaw Brothers. I wonder how many copies of this sold. I mean, the Spectrum sold quite well, actually. Worldwide, I think certainly. I'm sure in the UK it sold 5 million. That's not bad, That's not bad at all. I mean, I think the population of the UK is, well, last time I checked, 66 million. It's probably not 66 million, but back in the 80s, it probably wasn't 66 million. It's probably 45 million. So good fifth of the population had a Spectrum. The other ones there was a small amount of Amstrads, small amount of BBCs, small amount of Commodore 64s, but globally, Commodore 64, Commodore really won that because they were at 12 million. I don't know how many, but saying that, how many clones made it to Eastern Europe of the Spectrum? It was easy to clone, and it was a cheap computer. There was lots of clones, wasn't there? See some really impressive ones of those. They are quite smart, actually, some of these clones. They really are good. Right, coffee. Oh, that's good. I love coffee. Coffee is the best. And I've still got 2 more games to go. Brilliant. I'm excited about this. It's just a different way of doing it. I quite like that rummaging around in there, picking out. I might rummage again because it's quite good fun, actually. We've got to do something with these orphan tapes, don't we? Like I feel like I should print the covers again, and then they should be released back into the public with as the repo versions of it, and just tell people that the reproduction covers, then printed professionally on the right gram paper, because that's the thing. If you print it out, if I printed that out, my printer would be 80 gram or whatever else it is. I think it's grams per square meter or something like that. So it would be 80 grams per square meter GSM. So you would. I know 88. Look, I know the date now. By the way, I've just noticed it's down there. Redwood Designs. Anyway, yeah. So you got to get the right weight for the paper and the right cut. Oh, looks good. Filmed in Panavision. Programmed by Graham and Dave Shaw. Almost there then. Yeah, you got to hunt down them. Look, there's the dead or alive. We've got to find the bad guys and shoot them repeatedly. There was no really messing about, was there, in the Wild West? None at all. I have to admit, I have been back into sort of westerns recently, and I enjoyed Once Upon a Time in the West with Charlie Bronson. It was quite good, actually. Good old Charlie Bronson. There's Peter Fonda, I think it was, playing a bad guy for a change. One of the rare occasions, apparently, that he played a bad guy. I can't remember the female actress. She was absolutely superb in the role in that one. Lovely see a good story, a good solid story. That was it. Nice story. Well, not a nice story necessarily, but a good solid story. Pretty good. Richie Lemon as the sheriff, written by Graham D. Shaw. Locations, David A. Shaw. Special effects by Texonics. Costume designer, Charlotte Street. Filmed on location in the Wild West at the Redwood Studio. Production, Redwood Designs. There we go. Atlantis Software. Nice to see a bit of a crawl going on there. I've got to wait for it to appear anyway. Keyboard, Q, A, O, P, and M is the keys. I'm just listening to the music. I'm wondering what it is. Right, 1 for keyboard. Off we go. So this is us, our little man. Actually, look at that. It's really cool. Hugo Yorgway. Your way is where? I don't know where it said it was. Ah! Been shot. Oh, I forgot how blooming difficult this game is. It's just horrendously difficult. I remember this now. It's just horrible. You don't stand a chance. They just come out shooting. There's none of this Wild West goodness that you have. Top scores. No, I don't need top scores. I want to play a game again. There we go. 3 lives. Oh, look, it's the RIPs there already. You found 14 more deeds to save the town. Look at the graphics. They're cool, aren't they? They are really cool. So I'm finding deeds I might find to save the town. So I've got to watch out for this nasty guy. I like the graphics though. I'm sure these guys did Super Kid as well. I liked Super Kid. Nobody else liked Super Kid, but I liked Super Kid. I thought Super Kid was great. I'm not sure about Super Kid in space. That was weird because he seemed to lose his powers in space. Oh, I'm going to casino. Yes, I'm in the casino. Gamble. Yes, I'm going to cheat to gamble. I lost some money. That's no good. There we go. Let's go in the bar. This is really cool. There's the store. Can't buy anything from the store. Am I the bad guy? No, I'm not the bad guy. The guy there's the bad guy, definitely. Gold mine. Can I go in the gold mine? No. Gold mine. This is where he's going to turn up and shoot me. It's like mono. Money or money. Oh, he's there. Run, cowboy, run! There's a deed. 13 more to save the town. There he is. I'll see if I can shoot him when he comes in this level. I'll see if I can get him. Come on, you've got to come down this way, aren't you? It's not there. Oh, I can't shoot through that. I thought I could shoot through that. I couldn't shoot through it. Run, run, run. Bank. Let's go to the bank. Meet you in the street. Oh, I don't want to meet you in the street. So he's meeting him in the street. I'm telling you, I'm holding my breath, you know, for him turning up here. Uh-oh. Dude shooting from the window. Oh, he's killed me. I don't want to meet you in the street. You just stay there. I'm running away. I'm a coward. I'm Yella. There's a bath outside, look. I'm just exploring the city and taking my time. I'm going to go this way. All the way across. I love the graphics, by the way. The graphics are really cool. It's a nice use of colours. It's nice to see. I always think that's nice to see on the Spectrum. I like also the clever use of speeding up the processor speed. Yet again by... Oh, I got him! And I died! Oh, dear. I like the way the cleverest way to speed up this process is, by the way, is they're not altering any of the other pixels around the rest of the screen. They're only altering that central section. So it's a bit of a clever cheat to sort of bring down the overhead on the processor, because it's all run by that, of course, by the little Z80 processor. But it's a clever way of getting round that whole cut me down, paint a picture. I know it's over. Perfect skin, symmetry gates from the hip, Redwood Designs. Hat and glove, girl needs a gun, demon. That's me. Right, anyway. But yeah, it's a clever way of just bringing the overhead down, because there's only certain parts of the screen they alter, which is really kind of clever. Smart people back then. Smart people. Let's pop in another tape and let's go for that. I'm quite enjoying this. I hope you are. I mean, it's a bit silly, just pulling them all out of that box there and doing whatever else it was. But it's interesting to see. It's just, as I say, it's a shame. I mean, I guess they would get orphaned over time as well. I don't know if everybody kept their tapes in perfectly, working order and in the tape cases that they were there. But kind of cool. Kind of cool. A little bit of Spectrum action. Some good stuff. Oh, we're loading. Oh, we're going to load shortly anyway. Sorry, it's moving forward in the tape deck. Oh, it doesn't look good. Oh, it doesn't look good. Let's rewind the tape on the other side. Let's see if we can get a better sound, because it's sometimes better on the other side. Let's give it a go. Just rewinding it. Empire Fights Back next. This one I kind of liked as a budget title as well. I mean, that Gunfighter is pretty good, actually, I'll be honest. But I think it's a bit... The computer AI is a bit rough, because it just comes out shooting and you don't really have much of a chance to sort of defend yourself. You've got to find all the deeds, obviously, to save the city as the sheriff. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good Western, though. I used to watch a lot of them. Spaghetti westerns. They used to be called that because they were filmed in Italy. Spaghetti westerns. So it was a kind of, there was an Italian sort of ground or whatever else. Must have been really cheap to film in Italy. You flew your expensive actors to Italy to film. It must have been really, really cheap. Super cheap. I'm assuming the whole cast spoke Italian, which would have been quite difficult as well. But I guess it must have been extremely cheap. What was that movie with? I'm sure it was Brad Pitt and somebody else where they played sort of I guess B movie actors that went over somewhere. It was a Quentin Tarantino one. It got really nasty at the end. Involved was it Matt Damon in it as well? Good old Matt Damon. Yeah, Matt Damon. I'm sure it was Matt Damon in it. The Empire Fights Back. I'm not sure I don't remember the overall story for this. I do remember this guy. Here you go. Yeah, he's in this sort of... He's like a little pod over the top of him, and he's just shooting. There you go. His little spaceship's sort of very... It's a very exposed-looking spaceship. See, they launched Juice into space. Was it Juicy? I think it was, wasn't it? I don't know if they'd managed to make it. To be fair, I didn't follow up with the rest of it, but just made me laugh that they managed to launch a probe into space called Juicy. Yeah, that I bet that took a bit of convincing for somebody. They abbreviate it to Juicy. Well, it's because it's Jupiter something or other, wasn't it? It was going to orbit around that. I remember the early days when Voyager was launched. Remember Voyager? That was the one they sent out into space. We've only got to wait until what's it when it's 2025 and it comes back again in Star Trek. It calls itself Vija at that point, and tries to scoff the human race to find the maker, because somebody alters it all the way along. It's kind of cool. So weird. That's a very weird Star Trek, that one. I don't know about anybody else. I always thought the first sort of Star Trek the motion picture, and I had the comic book, by the way, as well, back in the day. I don't know if I still have it. I probably do, actually. Because they did comic books then, and then they sort of expanded in the comic books on things that you didn't see. For instance, Terminator 2, the comic book, which was by Marvel, actually, when Dark Horse had the rights to it at the time, which is kind of an odd one. In that one, they expanded on the bits that were in the movie that you didn't get until the later cuts. So one of which is that the T-800, 800, isn't it? It's just Terminator. It's Arnold's. It's 800, isn't it? The T800 couldn't be altered. It couldn't learn anything new unless they sort of removed a little bit of skull and opened up a hatch on the top of his head and then flicked it to writable its memory, which is because it was been set with instructions only to sort of defend. That didn't appear later. That actually did happen in the movie. They did do that, but they took it out. In the comic book, it was there. So when we went, so when I saw the movie and then read the comic book, I was like, that's actually kind of cool. It's more fan sort of service than it is anything else. You know, the suggestion that the machine can't learn anything new because it's already been taught what it needs to know, and they can't really add anything extra to it. So it's purely, I guess that's your you know, your Isaac Asimov sort of 3 rules safe. You know, and robot can't hurt a you know, human being, or by extension allow a human to be hurt while protecting and defending itself. Yeah, it's kind of a 3 rule thing, isn't it, realistically? But why would you make them to read only? I guess Skynet itself must have been frightened of its own creation. If it you know, the AI, computer AI, maybe frightened of its own creation, realistically. Is that loaded? That doesn't look like it's loaded. It's typical. It's still what's on the tape, whether you like it or not. It's still not going to load everything. Of course it isn't going to load that. Right, okay. This time we're going to just hold that on the floor with disdain. Get on the floor there. Get on the floor. It's time now to go with the old favourite. The easiest way to deal with this, which is to basically stick it into the side of my phone, bring up PlayZX, and we'll run this one from there. So I'll just go find that now. Let's find PlayZX. PlayZX. The Empire Fights Back. Let's load The Empire Fights Back. Before we finish on one of my absolute personal favourites, I still hold Exploding Fist in really high, you know, so that sort of regard. Empire Strikes. Is it The Empire? It's probably The Empire. I just hate that when it's The Empire. Empire Strikes Back. No, it's Empire Fights Back, isn't it? Sorry. Not Fights Back. Empire Fights Back. That's the one we want. Push the button. Done. There we go, 3 minutes. I remember getting this one and being absolutely delighted with that. I thought it was one of the best one of the best budget titles. That and Finders Keepers. Finders Keepers, I absolutely love those. I love the grid pattern on them as well. It's. I know that you know, Sega did the same thing, didn't they? There's a sort of grid pattern on their Master System, and then they flipped it and they put white lines on the black background, and when it was white with black lines originally with the Master System. Utterly loved that. I loved that design, but I loved the Mastertronic one, which was the sort of blue lines to begin with. Anyway, certainly. I'm looking behind me to see if I can see them on the shelf, but I know they're buried behind a whole bunch of stuff. But the blue lines that were originally there, just honestly, just absolutely fantastic. Realistically, I kind of loved those blue grid lines, and I think, if I remember rightly, the pictures for these games were on the inside of the cover, so you had to open them to actually have a little look. So you had to take them out, take the inlay out, have a little look at it. Kind of smart marketing that to some extent, because you meant you had to, you know, open it, have a little read, and could see what you were getting into. You know, you're taking on the Empire fighting back. So it's kind of the opposite to Empire Strikes Back, I guess. But well, I suppose it's the same thing, isn't it? But the Empire fights back. Actually, to be fair, I think at the time, I thought it was a Star Wars reference. I definitely probably thought I was playing something Star Wars related. I was a bit of a Star Wars fan, but I didn't, you know. But it never really dawned on me that I actually wasn't playing Star Wars, if that makes sense. So yeah, no, pretty cool game, but absolutely, part of a whole range of fantastic Mastertronic games. There's thousands of them out there though as well. They're still finding new old stock. I mean, they're still out there getting, sort of, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of games that are new old stock that are coming out there. Some really good stuff turning up recently as well. That is new old stock. I'm amazed how many of the Psygnosis things turn up. Like the Barbarians and what's that one with the runner thing, which has got sort of like an alien creature on the front of it. Always reminds me of a dinosaur. It's blue, big tall head thing, little face. Can't remember what the name of that one is. The Psygnosis had the most amazing artists doing their stuff. Absolutely phenomenal artists doing their covers. I mean, their covers were just amazing stuff. Shadow of the Beast, that turned up recently. Brand new Shadow of the Beast 2. Went up for sale for £200 because it had the t-shirt and all the other bits and pieces that went with it. Ridiculously brilliant. But it's amazing to think that probably was never £200 back in the day. Probably 30 quid maybe. £200. Probably inflation-wise, it's probably about right, actually, to be fair. Captain Blood. Do you remember Captain Blood? That was a great cover. Fantastic one. And the music for Shadow of the Beast is just, and Shadow of the Beast 2 is just phenomenal. You know what I'd really like? I know they remade it. They remade it? They remade it for the PlayStation 4. I don't know if it's compatible with the PlayStation 5, but they remade it for the PlayStation 4. I would love to see Shadow of the Beast released in some other format. I'd like to see it on my Switch. I'd like to see it on, out some other way. But of course, this is the problem with a little bit of the problem with Sony. Sony obviously doesn't want to release these things to other places. That we've loaded Clive Brooker. Oh, I'm sure he's got a website dedicated to his games. Actually, I'm sure he actually commented on one of my sort of videos where I played this last time round. I remember that. So Clive Brooker's still out there. He's still sort of promoting his games as such. So yeah, he's still out there. So I love the fact that down the bottom left-hand corner there, we've got the TIE fighters, the little TIE fighters that are there. Anyway, press fire. What was the fire? Is it space? Enter. 1. I think I've managed to find the fire key. Okay, I'm getting energy. Select 1. I've selected 1. We're launching. Right, okay, what's the controls? And yeah, gotta avoid the rocks. And what's left and right? What's left and right? What's left and right? What's left and right? And there's left and right. Crashed into it. What's the fire? What's the fire? Oh, no. 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 Yeah, I meant to avoid these things, but while flying into that... See at the bottom there's like a little tunnel thing? That's where I'm meant to be flying through. And then we go to this weird maze bit where we've got to go through the maze. And we got to get a core to disrupt it. So we're like little targets and androids. Yeah, okay, so avoid that. There's the core. There's core set. And we disrupted it. And that's it. We're back to flying in space again. I can't remember why we do this, by the way. I can't remember any reason at all. So we got another one. In danger, press fire to escape. Droids are not lethal. I've got energy at the bottom there. So I've got to get out of this maze. I'll press fire to escape there. Yeah, okay, select 1, 2. I can't remember the ins and outs of this game. I'll be honest, I can't remember any of it. I just like the graphics and the colours. I remember enjoying playing it back in the day. And you've got to avoid these boulders and still fly into that central section there. That's it. Yeah, you got to avoid them, but I'm still flying through the central bit there. I've got like impacts at the bottom there. It's like the ones I've finished. Ow! Oh, itchy nose. Itchy nose. Itchy nose and a sniffy nose. Sorry about that. Sniffy nose. Like that's a word. I suppose sniffing's a word, but sniffy nose is not necessarily a word. Right, okay, so we're flying in here again, and I can't remember exactly what I'm meant to do. Now I've got to get 2 cores to do the next bit, and avoid the robot that's in here. There'll be a robot somewhere. There he is! That's the one! That's the bugger! There's only one left now. There's one dead. He's dead now, though. Oh, I can disrupt. I forgot about that. So it makes him stand still. I forgot about that. There we go, got the other core. The fire is disrupt. It's to disrupt them when they're moving. So I've got those, and then I've got to go down here. Oh no, I pressed fire to get out. I meant to blooming try and get out. Right, okay, we're going on level 3. Level 3. Sector 3. No idea what I'm doing. Completely forgotten entirely what this game's about. Alright, let's get that sector there. The energy's at the bottom left. Bottom right, sorry. Right, I'm just going up and down to avoid these guys. Oh, loads of impacts. It's just knocking my energy down. Every impact is knocking my energy down. That's it, I'm done. No idea what I was remember doing that game. None at all. I'm going to have a quick another go, though, because that's just mental and I quite liked it. Yeah, I know. Blast power, high. Total system failure. My spaceship has exploded. I loved this back in the day. As I say, completely, still no idea what I was remember doing with it, but quite a lot of fun. Let's push the button. I'm going for it. Right, okay. It's launching us again through to space. There we go. Let's push the button. There's our energy getting recharged. Sector 1. I guess there's 1 core, 2 core, 3 core, 4 core, and 5 core. Just kind of makes sense. I think we just have to make it here without getting too many impacts. There's a little impact there. Oh, I can fire. Oh, I have got weapons. It just bounces them back. So I can bounce them back. I didn't realise that. There we go. So I could have bounced them back and saved myself some time. And look, it gives you more energy when you do that as well. How silly am I? Right. Okay, so loads of energy. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's look for this core thing. And there it is. There's the core. I managed to avoid the robot thing. So now I think I have to find my way out. In danger, press fire to escape. Droids are not lethal. Ah, right. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4. No, that's fire. I didn't know how I opened those. There was some buttony things there, wasn't there? There was like numbers on the doors. Can't remember how you open those. Go away. Go away. Go away. There we go. Go away. Run out of firepower. Loads of impacts. All over the place. Loads of impacts all over the place. What a great game. Do you know what though? I would say this one of those games which sparked the imagination. It's just because it's kind of weird. I like it when they're weird because it makes them different. It makes them very different. Ah, damn. I think I've only got one more droid. Yeah, some of the droid next to the disruptor, there was like a picture of a droid. Oh, sugar. Oh no, I've got no droids left. I'm done. I've been thrown out. Oh no, back here though. Back here. 2, 4, 3. Right. So what do I do with these? How do I get past that lot? I can't push that button. Enter. I don't know how you open these doors. And if I press 0, that's me starting again back to the beginning. Very odd. Very odd. Let's finish with a classic. Let's finish with a classic, peoples. Let's finish with the... did you play Empire Fights Back? I bet you did. I think lots of people probably had Empire Fights Back. I don't know how many people took it back, though, because sometimes we used to take them back, didn't we? Very infrequently. You know, you'd sometimes take them back because you were like, oh, I don't like that one, so take it back and sort of get your money back. I've got coffee. I've still got coffee. It's an hour in. I've still got coffee. It's a bit cold now, but I mean, it's all good unless it's got a skin on the top. Oh. I didn't think it was moving for a second there. Fist. I still love this one. I think I love the cover. I have a collection of them. I've often said, I've often said, the man was an oaf. Anyway, I've often said that I do collect this. I have collected it. There's still some that are outstanding from my collection. I still I still seek that ever sort of elusive C16 version with the original yellow outline corners of the sort of the picture. Not the Ricochet version, which did come out. I do seek that one. I still want the American version of Way of the Exploding Fist for the Commodore 64, which is on a 5 1/4 inch floppy. I also want the BBC version, which is on a 5 1/4 copy, and I want another BBC version on the sort of with the tape version, because I got mine and it's stuck to the inside of the cover, so the inlay is glued to the cover, and every time I look at it and think about taking it apart, I realise that I'm going to tear the cover apart when I actually do that, which is not very good realistically. It's horrible, in fact, that I'm going to lose half my blowing cover when I actually do it. But it is what it is, I guess. You know, it was cheap, and I managed to get a copy of it. So I've got all the Ricochet versions that are available. I've got the Amstrad version of it. I've got the Dutch version of the thing, which came through a computer club. It's interesting though they got the inlay right though, but it was produced by Computer Club, so I assume they must have had the inlay professionally printed. And then the Spanish version was given to me by a good friend again. I've already mentioned him once in this video, Mr. Zombie Bob himself. He sent me that because he said it would look better in my collection than it does in his. So he sent me the Spanish version, which comes in a clamshell, which is really rather nice. I think the Commodore 64 version comes in no, it's the Amstrad CPC comes in the clamshell. Commodore 64 comes in a tape case and all sort of single dual thing. I mean, it's amazing to think that some of these were what I would call, you know, your AAA games at the time, and they came in those sort of small cases and whatever else is, and then some other games didn't. I mean, do you know one that always strikes me as being poorly sort of loved was it Ghouls and Ghosts? Ghouls and Ghosts, the first time that was released, and it's just got I think the cover art is horrible. I don't know about anybody else, but it's sort of demon and a little fat-bodied, you know, knight. I mean, when they re-released, when they got to Ghouls and Ghosts, graphically it's 10 times better. Sort of the graphic on the front is a nice, you know, looking thing. Whereas the version on the sort of that came out with the cover. I mean, I remember buying it and going and finding it the hardest game I'd probably ever played on the Spectrum. I mean, there were some pretty hard games, and I remember feeling it was very hard. But I did keep playing it. I was delighted when I finished the first stage. But that's all I could manage. Even now, I can only manage finishing the first stage. I'm not brilliant at the thing. It's just one of those really tough games. It's a great game series. Really good game series. Still a good game series. I know they did a remake, didn't they, recently? It's on sort of Switch and PlayStation and Xbox, and I think it's on the PC. I'm not sure about that actually, but they definitely did a had a remake, a nice sort of game for people to have. I know there's another version of Waves Exploding Fist as well. Actually, I think it's on the Evercade. I think it's on the Evercade, and I think it might be on the NES, but I haven't got much interest in that because I never had a NES back in the day. I kind of went to Boots and then lusted after them because they often had that, you know, that dual cartridge you had where you had Duck Hunt and Super Mario. Or Mario, whichever it was, the first Mario you had, and you could swap between the two. And I always thought the light gun was really cool with the Duck Hunt where you were shooting things, and the Mario and things like that. But the thing about it was, I as a kid, I was like, yeah, but the cartridges cost a fortune. You know, the console itself wasn't massively expensive, realistically. It was the cartridges that were a problem. Right, here we go. Boom. Boom! Got ya! Brilliant game this, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. Gotcha! Beautiful, beautiful bit of work there from me. I'm novice at the moment. Boom. Oh, he's got me with the little leg thing. I love the fact that it's so final with its... Oh, he's got me again! So final with its one hits and whatever else it is, and then you get the yin and yang scores for doing things. Beautiful, love that. Finished him off nicely there. So sort of final with those one hit sort of point scoring things. Brilliant, love it, absolutely fantastic. Loads of keys though. You've literally got every key around the S key as a movement, and then you press the number 1 key to produce other moves. So you've got all kinds of things from roundhouse kicks like that, which you never score because the computer's too good at avoiding those kind of things. But you got roundhouse kicks and other exciting things. Oh, I've roundhoused the wrong way. Boom. That should have hit. There we go, got him in the foot. But yeah, you got roundhouse kicks and all kinds of things. Now this also obviously IK Plus was a sort of a version of this IK International Karate International Plus. There's a Way of the Exploding Fist, technically 2. There's a Fist 2 and there's a Way of Exploding Fist 2, which is really good on the Commodore 64 and absolutely pants, I'm afraid, on the Spectrum, which is quite disappointing, really, because the Spectrum version, there's just no way to make an impact, whereas this, you can feel that the impact is going to be made, the characters are going to be correctly hitting. I mean, look at the animation on this. I mean, it's just phenomenal for the day. I mean, we're talking a game that's nearly 30 plus years old and it looks like this on a machine with sort of 48K memory. Wow. You can't sort of knock the effort of the developer in this particular case. And it's such a refined beat 'em up. I remember playing this at my friend's house, and he had this, and obviously he was never going to loan this, and we all played this against each other. All of us wrapped around the keyboard, sort of taking turns fighting each other, and it's just beautiful. The only thing I feel very sorry for is in the Amstrad CPC version, they only get one stage, and it's this stage. Same with the Acorn version, which is out there, and the BBC version. I'm not sure about the BBC version in comparison. Oh, we did each other there. That was an equal score, but yeah, it's the BBC version of it. I'm not sure about that one, but as I say, let's see if I can get. Come on! Oh, he's not. He's sneaking away. Oh, he's got me. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a great game. Fantastic looking game. Oh, time up. I win. By default, because I've got the most number of yings and yangs. I don't know why I was going the other way there with my hit, by the way. I was completely out completely stupid. There we go. Foot swoop, foot swoop. I swooped in and foot swooped him. There's another foot swoop for him. Doubles foot swoops. Great game. Fantastic game. Just so good. I was never this good back in the day, but I've really kind of improved with old age and practice because it does feature a lot on What's the Tape because it's so damn good. That's the testament to the quality of the game, that it was copied mercilessly because of the fact of that. And and I would hope somebody would want to turn. I definitely owned a copy of it later. Obviously, I had a special version of it, but later I owned a copy of it, and as I say, it's a testament to the quality of the game. Realistically, it's just brilliant. I mean, look at the graphics on that. Look at the background on that. That is just so nice to see so much colour on the spectrum at the same time as obviously an extremely. Oh yeah, right in the stomach. And then we do a little flying kick. See if I can do a punch in the face this time round. I think I'm going to win this by default, by the way. Look. Time up. I couldn't turn around. Couldn't work out how to turn around there, but I've won by default. Brilliant game. So good. So much fun to play as well, just especially with a friend. This is one of those games you just gotta keep playing, and it's one of those things that's repeatable. I was talking about gameplay earlier, about games that kind of grab you. This is so repeatable. What I'm battling here is my own ability on the game. That's what I'm battling right now. I'm battling how far I can personally get on this game against what my friends might be able to do. The high score that we get, because kind of a cumulative. But I'm now a fourth Dan. I don't know much about the belts, but I know that once you get past a black belt, you become you do into Dans, don't you? And it's sort of your level of. Oh God, that was a lot of kicking and punching going on that was getting blocked. Very nice blocking by the computer there. Oh, double sort of. There we go down. Yeah, we've got the same score now. And it's gone down. Sweep the leg. I swept the leg. Yeah, I mean, just phenomenally good games. Really, really nice. So much fun to play. I could do with doing that to myself, actually. I really want to do one of those on you. And it's not going to hate it, is it? He's just not having it. Just not having it. It's a bit like doing the head spin. It's like doing that the kick you do in Barbarian, where you take the head off them. Is it Barbarian? Barbarian. It is Barbarian. That hasn't come for ages, actually. I do like Barbarian as well. It's one of the other brilliant games of the time. And a back kick. Beautiful. But yeah, I mean, one of the other brilliant ones. But you do that spinning, so same maneuver actually, spinning attack, and it was just fantastic. He's got a little half one from that. Oh, he's got me again. That was a smooth maneuver. I'm surprised he didn't get more for that. Go on. Oh, he's got me. He's got me. That's it. Fifth Dan. And a perfect time to finish. Anyway, I've been your host, Real Generic Demon. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye now.